All right, folks, welcome back to the Crisis Report. This one is called Texas Showdown. Tonight, we're going to be talking about some of the after effects of what was going on with the 8.8 magnitude earthquake on Kamchatka Peninsula. We're also going to be talking about some political turmoil that's going on in Texas with this vote to redistrict and redraw some of the lines of the map. And then, of course, there's other things going on. We'll be talking about the SMO, and we'll be talking about what's going on in the Middle East. There's a lot of pressure being put onto Hamas, and Israel and America are basically at a point where it looks like they're going to throw down. So that is the gist of everything. This isn't going to be a long one. There's not a terrible amount going on, but all very important, of course. So if you could join us with hitting those buttons and stuff. We are brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals. If you're looking to turn your IRA into gold and silver, highly rated company that sponsors the channel. Strongly encourage you to check out some of the information they have by going to the affiliate link that is in the description. Real quick educational little session. And then from there, they will, kind of either entice you and you'll go forward, or you'll say no thanks, and at that point, nothing venture, nothing gain. So let's get started on your crisis report for August 3rd, 2025. This one is entitled Texas Showdown, baby. So we're going to get to it. A lot of developments going on. Texas is, let's just say there's some political tremors going on there. So let's go. Most Texas House Democrats have left the state to prevent a vote on a GOP-backed effort to redraw congressional maps, media reports. Now, of course, if you were here on the brief earlier, you would know that this also might draw Jasmine Crockett out of a seat. So she, of course, is a very vocal, well-known. She's, your typical boogeyman or woman on the left. So she might get redistricted out. So after that, of course, she'll probably get a job on CNN. Thousands of fervent supporters of Brazil's former president, Jair Bolsonaro, took to the streets, showing support for U.S. President Donald Trump's pressure campaign against the trial of his right-wing ally. Trump, Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican, ? Well, now I love her ad. If she is a registered Republican, I think her ad is fantastic. This total crap BS, who cares? Political thing. A lot of people on the left are mad because a very beautiful young lady has had the audacity, being, of course, a Hollywood person, to come out and do a jeans commercial and to be found out to be conservative. A free country allows you to have multiple views politically. So if you're mad that someone is of a differing side politically, then you're not really into freedom. And go F yourself. Irish president calls for potential military action in Gaza. He wants the UN to invoke Chapter 7, which allows an international force to defend aid corridors. Quote, "Are we to watch children starving? Something must happen," end quote, he said. Russian cancer vaccine enters final phase of the human trials in February 2024. Putin announced that Russia was on the verge of creating a cancer vaccine. The Gamaleya National Research Center in Russia yesterday has announced that its new mRNA cancer vaccine is moving on to human trials. As Trump's tariffs began to take effect, monthly revenues from them approach $30 billion. Illinois' Governor Pritzker brokers a deal with Texas Democrats to block congressional redistricting. I guess he's like trying to help them and get them in and save them. Train carrying 220 cars of coal is derailed in West Virginia, causing a suspension of Amtrak service between Huntington and New York City. Today marks the anniversary of the destruction of the Jewish temple by the Romans in 70 CE. As a result of the Jewish revolt back then against the Romans, which Israel claims was located beneath the Al-Aqsa Mosque. This morning, Israel's Minister of National Security, Itamar Ben-Gvir, stormed the Al-Aqsa Mosque, third most holy mosque for Muslims, and performed Talmudic rituals inside. In another video, he stated that Jewish people will not only mourn the destruction of the temple, but also rebuild it, impose sovereignty, and assert control. He added that the singing and praying taking place at Al-Aqsa today hasn't been seen for thousands of years. So that one is for my friends of the book. U.S. is on pace to have a net negative migration for the first time in 5 decades. Based on the available data, the U.S. has seen a net reversal of 2.8 million entrants. United States stock market concentration bubble is rising. Top 10 stocks now make up a record 40% of the S&P 500. Comparison at the 2000 dot-com bubble peak, that share was 27%. Yet those companies were only generated 30% of total index earnings. The gap is widening fast. U.S. manufacturing recession is deepening. The ISM manufacturing PMI index decreased 1 point in July to the downward side to 48, lowest since November 2024. Marks the 5th consecutive monthly contraction. As a result, the U.S. manufacturing sector has now shrunk in 31 out of the last 33 months. ISM report also showed its 6th straight month contraction in new orders. Furthermore, the employment index fell negative 1.6 points to 43.4, its lowest since 2020. This comes as 25% of U.S. manufacturing reduced their payrolls last month, the highest share since June of 2020. United States manufacturing is in dire straits, to say the least. Oh, sorry, folks, I'm not presenting. Just roll along. U.S. Representative to NATO, Matt Whitaker. Trump will impose devastating tariffs and sanctions against Russia on August 8th. Russia will have no friends left. It will have no trading partners, and its ability to finance this war will end. A lot of maximum pressure is being put onto Russia, so we're going to see what happens. But yeah, it's a lot of things are coming, and they're saying that this might crescendo into more action. I don't know. We'll have to see, but Trump is definitely going after him with a new set of things. And so August 8th will be an interesting day to see what happens. Ukrainian drone strike has hit Sochi oil depot, sparking a massive fire. Ukrainian drone strike hit a Rosneft oil depot in Sochi's Adler district, igniting a major fire. Strike damaged a 2,000 cubic meter fuel tank and nearby buildings. Over 120 firefighters were deployed. Eyewitnesses reported 20+ explosions. Trump has all options on the table for a diplomatic, financial, and other resolution to the war in Ukraine. That's according to U.S. President's Homeland Security Advisor Stephen Miller. In July 2025, Russia launched 6,297 OWA drones at Ukrainian targets, staggering 1,374% increase from July 2024. Swarm tactics with Jaran and Gerbera drones are now overwhelming AFU defenses with 300 to 400 drones launched nightly. This marks the highest monthly drone total ever recorded in the conflict. China is preparing to shoot down Starlink satellites. Chinese scientists are developing all possible ways to eliminate the space threat, which they consider to be numerous Starlink communications satellites. According to the Associated Press, the list of possible tools to combat them include stealth submarines equipped with lasers to destroy objects in space, ion-powered attack satellites, and simply sabotage the supply chains of Elon Musk's company. Russia, of course, has a satellite killer called the patriot, which basically is it blinds it, so it doesn't destroy it physically. But there are things that it can do. We'll see. Space war is coming, folks. It's all just a matter of time. Space war. Spaceballs. A member of the Ukrainian President Zelensky party is facing accusations of corruption, including stealing war funds and involvement in bribery schemes. Fighter jets were scrambled after a civilian aircraft breached restricted airspace over Trump's Bedminster property in New Jersey. Kamchatka region of eastern Russia appears not to be finished, yet powerful earthquakes continue to erupt on the fault line and have not only produced last week's major 8.8 quake, but has also produced 3 tsunami warnings and a small tsunami impacting several regions, as well as the eruption of 2 other volcanoes. One of these has been dormant for over 400 years. More attacks on Christians in Africa that no one is talking about. Northern Mozambique, ISIS raided Christian villages and burned down houses in Chur. Israeli political source says, we are all in talks with the Americans. There is a growing understanding that Hamas is not interested in a deal, and therefore the prime minister is pushing for the release of the hostages alongside a military overpowering, combined with the introduction of humanitarian aid to areas outside the combat zones, and as much as possible to areas outside Hamas's control. Bottom line, Israel is set to operate in the areas where the hostages are held, which basically means that we are getting ready for some kind of a conflict with all that. They keep saying, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to blah, blah, blah. Fact of the matter is that they're getting ready to, I think, drop the hammer. They want to get the remaining hostages out. There's not that many left. And, they think that if they don't get them out soon, then there's going to be nothing left. In another sharp escalation, Texas Governor Greg Abbott said Sunday night he would seek to declare the seats of House Democrats vacant after they left the state. Quote, it seems to me that the only way some of the fleeing Democrats can avoid bribery charges is to not break quorum. It seems that would eliminate any potential quid pro quo connection to any payment they received to deny a quorum and skip a vote. So it's getting busy. It's getting thick in Tejas. Friends, that is your crisis report for August 3rd, 2025. Please hit that like button, do the subscribe thing, darken out the bell. We would love to have you back. Again, we do these twice a day now because you have to, because of things that are going on. So we do a brief in the afternoon, and then, of course, we do the full daddy at night, usually about 15 to 20 minutes. But we would we'll have you, back and watching more, most comprehensive news on YouTube. Why? Because you're busy. And it'd be nice just to strap on the earbuds and listen for 15, 20 minutes, get all the information you need, and move on with your life. So we appreciate you being here. We are brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals. There are numerous places to find me elsewhere, like Gab, Minds, X, Twitter, and Truth. And then, of course, subscribe, star, and locals. And if you really want to be cool, you can be like Water Tiger and Water Tiger and John Evans. And there's no one here somewhere. Become a member, folks. Membership is very helpful. It's a couple bucks. And we're growing, really growing on Substack. Things are going great over there. So strange. Everything just goes great outside of certain platforms. We'll just keep doing what we're doing. Appreciate you. God bless. We'll see you on the next one.